Audit was my weakest subject in intermediate also, and I don't have articleship experience in audit. So
हेलो एंड वेलकम बैक टू माय यूट्यूब फैमिली। तो आज के वीडियो में सीक्रेट रिवील होने वाला है रैंक होल्डर के बारे में, किस तरह आप लोग रैंक लेकर के आ सकते हैं सीए कोर्स में। तो आज हम लोग यही बात करेंगे। अगर आप लोग इस चैनल पे न्यू है तो इस चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें एंड मुझे भी मोटिवेट करें। तो टॉप 3 रैंक होल्डर के बारे में मैं आप लोगों को आज बताने वाला हूँ। नंबर 1 पे यश तिब्रीवाल जो कि ऑल इंडिया रैंक 5 है। नंबर 2 पे है सीए शुभम सिंह जो कि ऑल इंडिया रैंक 7 है। एंड नंबर 3 पे है सीए विधि मैम जो कि ऑल इंडिया रैंक 46 है। इन लोगों का क्या पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू है, ये लोग किस तरह एग्जाम के टाइम में डिस्ट्रैक्शन से बचते हैं और किस तरह ये लोग स्मार्ट स्टडी करते हैं। तो मैं सेमिनार में गया था तो मैं इन लोगों को सुना था, तो मैंने ये सोचा कि क्यों ना आप लोगों के साथ भी ये शेयर करूंगा। तो आप लोग ये वीडियो को लास्ट तक देखें तो इन लोगों का क्या पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू है और आप लोग इस वीडियो को सुन करके मोटिवेट जरूर होंगे और एंजॉय भी करेंगे। तो चलिए हम लोग आप सुनते हैं रैंक होल्डर।
In this, I failed in this planning part miserably. So the only thing which came to my rescue was not fast track classes, but these days what's trending on YouTube is marathon videos. So that's what I used to watch a lot. And if I can share something from my own personal experience, SC and PE was a subject in which half of my syllabus was incomplete even 2 days before the exam. So that's one of the subjects which I did solely from the marathon videos. And there are a lot of quality content available online for free, which if utilized properly can actually be your savior on the last day itself. So instead of fast track, I modified it a bit to the marathon videos which I utilized.
adding on to this, I also have a suggestion. So I have been receiving many questions as to which faculty should I refer, whether I should go for self-study or go for this particular faculty. So I would like to make it completely clear that you will have to put in efforts, and at the end of the day each and every faculty is good. They are sitting there because they know how to teach. So all it boils down to is how you get the concepts. The teachers are there. If you pay attention in the classes, please pay attention to get the concepts, because if you rush the classes, if you go at 1.5 speed, the classes will get finished, but it won't matter because you will not get the concepts. And nowadays we can all see May 23 exams was the perfect example of how the paper setting pattern is being changed. So nowadays the questions are completely conceptual. So if your concepts are right and you are conceptually strong, you will be able to solve the papers, because in practical papers, especially SFM, DT, IDT, each and every question will be new. So if you are not aware with the concepts, you will struggle in the exam to write the answer. So while doing your classes or maybe your self-study, instead of rushing, be completely focused on getting the concepts, as in the logic, because you will remember the concepts and not the theory part. We know that CA course is as vast as an ocean, so you cannot remember each and everything. By the time you get near to your final 4 months or 3 months, you will not remember anything. Trust me this when I say this. You will not remember a lot of things, but what you will remember is the concepts. So if you have the concepts right in your mind, you will be able to grasp it and get back to the course and get back on track. So yes, please focus on concepts instead of classes and finishing the classes.
I agree to what Yash said. Like for practical papers, you should not go for fast track classes, because in practical papers you need to have good command over what the concept is all about, and you cannot like sit with lack of conceptual clarity. And for theory, you can go for fast track classes.
Coming to this point, that like you were saying that practical subjects like SFM or DT or FR is there, or for intermediate we have cost or accounting. Do you guys consider audit as practical subject? There is a very misconception that audit is not a practical subject, but many teachers or many renowned faculties says that audit is a practical subject and you should approach that subject in a very practical manner. So how do you guys think audit is it's a practical or a theoretical subject?
Okay, so coming to audit, one of the most dreaded subject even for me. So I was audit was my weakest subject in intermediate also, and I don't have articleship experience in audit. So I did my articleship in mergers and acquisitions. So I had no clue about audit. I had no practical experience, and theoretically also I was weak. So I personally took fast track classes from a faculty, and in audit, see, it's not about whether it's a theoretical subject or a practical subject. It is a subject and you'll have to do it. You need to pass in each and every subject to become a chartered accountant. So you need to focus on that too. And if you take audit the monotonous and theoretical way, it will be very tough for you to replicate answers in the exam, because like we all know, in May 23 audit was the most challenging paper, if one of the most challenging papers. So you should always try to relate it in a practical manner and get that concept and the flow, because each and every subject, they have a flow, they have a timeline, as in logic, as in what is happening and what is not. So you should try to memorize such theoretical subjects in interesting way. Say I also made a lot of mnemonics for myself, because as CA students we all know that if for a particular answer, if we get the starting point, we can complete the answer. कहानी लिखना तो सबको आता है. So you just focus on remembering small parts of the answer, and you will be able to make out and write the rest of the answers. So you should be particularly very careful while approaching subject.
Were new, and no amount of sample papers, no amount of past year question papers would have helped us in this. And if you do not have any experience in auditing, then definitely this will be the deal breaker for you. This was the only subject where either you can think of failing the group or which will make you pass the group. So this is the most dreaded subject and the most time-taking subject, but approached with a practical point of view, this will definitely make you pass.
Shubham, you mentioned about that you have an experience of merger and acquisition in your articleship days. Is it from articleship firm, CA firm, or it's industrial training?
So this is a CA firm, Hari Bhakti and so it has all the spares, it has audit also, it has direct tax, it has indirect tax, and yes, I was fortunate enough to venture a field that is not taken, and it was a very interesting field. So yes, that was.
So what do you guys think? Does industrial training hampers attempts, or it defers attempts in some cases, or what?
So I'll share my experience like we all had in the MDP program. So at least I would say 60% of them were industrial trainees.
Yes.
So they all were industrial training. So as a result, many of them had to maybe defer 6 months or so. But the kind of exposure they got, and maybe it was a blessing in disguise, they got additional 6 months, and if you are getting a rank at the end of the day, it's all worth it, right? So yes, industrial is always a good option, but only if you are getting the right company and the right position that you are getting. So yes, it is always a good option.
And one thing I would like to add, like industry experience would create a spike in your CV after you got your CA.
What is more important, a rank or a spike just because of doing industrial training?
See, both are important. So I don't have industrial experience. I had experience in a good firm and in a good field. So of course, rank boosts up your CV. And if you are having both, then there's nothing better. But if you're not having either, then it's not a big deal. You can always compensate on one aspect.
Correctly. Okay, coming to the next part, that how do you guys manage your time effectively while preparing for CA final exams with your articleship? Since you said you have exposure in merger and acquisition, and the work hours, I guess, sometimes tends to even 12 to 14 hours a day, if I'm not wrong. So how do you guys manage? I would like you to answer first and then come to Willie.
Yeah. So now coming to the most difficult part for every CA student, time management. I had a very tough time managing time. I always thought that I'll do the class at night, and after the office hours, I thought that no, I'll do it in the morning. So the cycle, it continued to be the same, and I struggled to complete a class a day. But I always try to make up in the weekends. So please don't. First of all, you don't need to worry if you're slightly out of track. You're not able to complete the classes. Don't worry. Just remember that each and every one here is struggling to do their classes on time. The ones I'm talking about, the ones who are doing articleship. So firstly, don't worry about that. You just be focused that you need to complete at least one class, or if you're not able to complete a class, you need to compensate on weekends or holidays. So yes, it is a difficult task, but whenever you are doing classes, like I mentioned before, don't do a class a day if you think that you will not be able to get the class and you are just watching it for the sake of watching. Instead, do a class when you have the time, but do it diligently. So yes, you just make a schedule and you try to stick to it. And if you are not being able to manage, so you always need to have cushions, maybe in the weekends. So yes, that is a task that you need to manage, because this is the most important thing a CA student doing articleship has to manage. So yes, that is your task and you need to do it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on this one. So the number of hours don't matter as much as the number of hours put efficiently matters. You can be in front of a laptop completely tired from your articleship and then just doze away through your class, and that won't really matter in the long run, because then you realize that it was just wasted hours. So if you are tired on a particular day, I would actually advise you to not do anything that day, but use your weekends, use your holidays, use your leave very diligently. And we all also made study plans, elaborate plans which involve 3 rounds of revisions, and none of that happened really. I think if you are done with even 1 round of revision, that is a good enough way to go for senior final, because it's an ocean and you need to not drown in it. You just need to be on the surface and just float through it. So that's what.
Let me share my experience. See, both the things are important. Like articleship, because you want a good CV after like getting CA degree, and as well as you want some good marks in your CA examination as well. So what was my approach was like, see, like we have 24 hours, and you also should have a good sleeping habit of around 6 to 8 hours, depending upon your capacity. But what was my approach towards classes? See, like I used to get up at 5:30, and my mindset was like, when you start like getting outside, when you get into firms, you interact with clients, you will like exchange a lot of energies, and at the end you will like feel exhausted. So my approach was like just जैसे मैं सुबह उठता हूँ and before I get into the firm for my articleship, I complete at least 1 class so that I will have a sense of satisfaction कि चलो मेरा like एक class हो चुका है, and in the firm also I will like get into the work in a very satisfaction manner. So that was my